We have had an absolutely insane start to the season here at Tokyo 23 FC. We won our opening 2 games of the league season last episode. Since then, 4 games played, 3 of those wins. And I want to be optimistic. I want to sit here confident. We're second in the league right now behind Aries Tokyo, who we take on today. But the reality is, when you look at the XG table, when you think about the fact that maybe we're just riding off momentum, I can't help but feel like at some point it's going to come undone. Today might be that day because we're taking on Aries Tokyo, who are top. We have won 5 games so far this year, 4 of them by a 1-goal margin, the other by a 2-goal margin. Look, I'm not going to complain. I just really hope it can continue for a little bit longer. And I say that knowing that today we're going to be up against things because we've got a goalkeeping disaster. That's the only word to use for it, really. Ataki, our starting goalkeeper, he's injured. Yoshikawa, our second choice goalkeeper, he's injured. And it means that Takayasu here, who was transfer listed when I came to the club, and he was still transfer listed until a week ago, he's going to make his debut for the first team today. Yeah, I'm worried for him. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Tokyo Rising. Today is episode number 3, and today, big games coming up. We're looking good in the league, but I'm trying not to get carried away too much because I know that Football Manager is a game of momentum. It feels like momentum is on our side, but we did lose our most recent game. Now, there's one golden rule to Football Manager, that is, have a goalkeeper on the bench in FM24, because goalkeepers get injured, and I experienced it in the first of the 4 games played since last episode. Against Tokyo Kokusai University, we won 2-1, but Ataki, yeah, he got injured. And if you're wondering, Jack, who came on in the 79th minute to play in goal? I didn't have a goalkeeper on the bench, so Maeda came in. He's not even a tall player, really, but he was just the best tall man on the bench to bring on in goal. Look, he didn't shame himself. He kept a clean sheet. And I want to sit here and be like, he also saved a penalty. But that would be a lie because 4 minutes after Ataki went off of an injury, with Maeda in goal, I might add. Maybe it was the mind games. Maybe it was the dancing on the line. Either way, Kojima for them missed from the spot. And from that, we held on for another really good win. Following on from that, we took on Nankatsu away from home. Their median prediction is first. They did lose their opening game of the year, but they had bounced back with 4 points in the next 2 games. So this game here felt like a tricky one. I decided for the first time in his time at the club to give Kazuteru Suzuki, the £14,000 man, the start. He rewarded me. So this was Yoshikawa's first game in goal for us. He almost kept a clean sheet until towards the end, but really it was all about Suzuki. We brought him in to be a striker who could maybe win some headers, and he did it not once in this game, but twice, directly leading to goals. We frustrated them in the first half. I think we had 2 shots in the first half to their 9. The second half, though, changed completely. We got 2 goals in really quick succession. From there, got a little bit nervy when they did pull 1 goal back. Shimohira with a pretty thunderous effort from range. Yoshikawa couldn't keep it out, but despite that, we were able to pick up 1 more goal. Ida to Fukumoto, who got his first ever goal for the club, the striker who I've really bigged up, and yeah, it did deflect in. Don't let that distract you from the fact he scored from 30 yards out. That is one of 2 goals he's got since last episode. Our next game was against a team that perhaps had the greatest name in Japanese football, although, you know what, I say that, there's some pretty bloody good names here in Japan. Joyful Honda. It wasn't a very joyful day for them. They're currently bottom of the league and haven't won in their first 7. As that indicates, they didn't win against us. Now, to be fair, it was Fukumoto on off the bench proving important here. Handa also chipped in with 2 goals. I feel like between Handa, Fukumoto and Suzuki, we've got 3 players here who are all chipping in with goals, which is a really good problem to have. And whilst this game wasn't perhaps the most convincing, especially against the team bottom of the league, ultimately we did get the win, and statistically, we definitely were the better team. Now, remember what I just said, you really need goalkeepers on the bench in Football Manager. Of course, Ataki was out injured. Yoshikawa was in goal for us. He got injured, and it wasn't quite as fortunate as the last one. He got injured in the 5th minute of this game, so you're probably wondering, Jack, you sorted out the goalkeeping position, right? You put a goalkeeper on the bench for this game, right? Allow me to show you their first of 3 goals they scored in this game. We lost this game, by the way. Spoilers. Maeda was in goal again. I think what we've learnt together today is that Ryotaro Maeda not a goalkeeper. You know what? He's played 90 minutes in goal so far this year. He's done fine. But yeah, not a good result this one. First defeat of the year, playing the best part of the entire game without a goalkeeper. Less than ideal. What made it even worse is that Yusei Ida, who's had a pretty good start to his time at the club, picked up an injury here, out for between 3 and 6 weeks. The creative midfielder, a player we are going to miss. Today's game is the first game we're playing without him, and as is indicated by his 7.05 rating, he's been pretty good at centre mid for us. Now, I haven't signed any new players since last episode, but one thing I have done is triggered a load of optional contract extensions we had in various players' contracts. So if I just sort by expiry date here, you can see there is now a decent chunk of players contracted beyond the end of the current season. One downside of doing that is that the two really big earners in Jin Hyuk and Ida were not very happy that I triggered the contract extensions. Apparently the squad isn't good enough. Apparently. They signed those contracts a few months ago. They've come to the realisation since they've joined that was a terrible idea. We just kind of have to hope that no one bids on them in the next 4 months. In terms of other promises, by the way, Sauer, I promised we'd improve the coaching staff and strengthen the striking position. I feel like we kind of had already strengthened it with Suzuki joining in, but that didn't satisfy his demands. And in terms of improving the coaching staff, I thought I could do that until I realised I have 4 coaches hired and the board think I should only have 3 coaches hired. So Sauer might get angry at me very soon. But let's be honest, when you look at this start to the season, I feel like it'd be very unjust if players got unhappy today. Let's hope that's not going to happen. In terms of the games we're going to do today, I'm going to play the Aries Tokyo game to open up today's episode. They're currently in first. And whilst I did discuss maybe doing the game against Vons, they're not having a particularly inspiring start to the year. And also that game is a month away. I did promise I was going to do the home away day today, but that's because we had 2 games at home. I kind of like the idea of going and wandering around a Japanese university. So we're going to save on to the home away day for today. We're going to get straight into the Aries Tokyo game, but we will be heading to the Toin Yokohama University soccer ground. Holds 500 people. Presumably it's on Google Earth. Now, you know what's kind of funny? Obviously, I've just had a second goalkeeper injury in the most recent game. I discussed the fact that I really should have a goalkeeper on the bench at this point. We're running out of goalkeepers to put on the bench. We have this guy, Hironiwa. I almost feel like Maeda could do a better job. I feel like I have to make him available for the senior team and then just put him on the bench. Otherwise, inevitably, our third choice goalkeeper, Takayasu, will just get injured today. I realise I didn't ever actually tell you what the injuries were to the players. Ataki, out with a torn wrist ligament. He's still out for a few more weeks yet. Going to miss around 2 months of football. And similarly, Yoshikawa broke his lower arm. So it's not even like these are minor injuries. Last episode I said, didn't I? We got in a new physiotherapist to help with injuries. I'm bloody glad that Kudo's here. Otherwise, I would be in trouble. Okay, we are going to get into this first game today. If we were to win at home, we would actually go to the top of the table. Aries Tokyo, by the way, are also really surpassing all expectations. They've had a good start to the year, but I do feel like football and Football Manager is a little bit of a game of momentum sometimes. I'm looking at the team for today's game. You'll notice that Hironiwa is now on the bench. Yeah, I've decided I do actually need a goalkeeper on the bench. I feel like Football Manager's scripted, so if he's not there, we just get another goalkeeper injury. In terms of the rest of the team, Jin Hyuk not available for today's game. He picked up a gash lag during the last game, but he didn't ask to come off. It was one of those ones where after the game it was like, by the way, he's out for a week. So sadly, another one of our really key players unavailable for this game in a top of the table clash. It means that Kawada is going to come on at centre-back and make his live commentary debut. A big moment for him. Hironiwa wants to be number 1. Man, I've got some bad news for you. There's 3 goalkeepers ahead of your son. Don't get too big for your boots. Okay, first game of today's episode. It feels like a big one. You'll notice that Moriyama, the university kid, is in at centre mid for Ida, who's injured. And in the striking positions, it's Fukumoto, who finds himself down on the bench. We are going with, is it Kanda or Handa I'm playing up top at the moment? I can't remember. The answer is, it's Handa on the bench alongside, of course, Suzuki, the man who can jump. Let's hope we can put up a bit of a fight here, as there is going to be a kick-off highlight right away. Interesting to know, I've not really tinkered with the tactical system too much just yet. Of course, we're playing this 4-4-2 where we look to break and counter in the wide areas. So far, it has served us very, very well. I'm going to hope that continues here as Sauer steps forward and shoots, forces an early save out of Ito in goal for them. Tamura on the far side for them. Aries Tokyo, the only team, I believe, unbeaten still in the league right now. It's going to be a tall order to beat them, especially with them getting a goal there inside the first 3 minutes. I don't think there's been too many games this year where we found ourselves down early on. This is going to be a little bit of a test for us now. Hosayama with the header down. Takayasu I'm not going to blame. It's his debut today. It's not a great debut conceding after 3 minutes. But, you know what? Not a great debut. Maybe things are going to turn around, though, because Aoki has a short corner to Matsumoto, who whips it to the back post. Suzuki is there. He heads just over. I love Suzuki, by the way. He's 190 centimetres tall. Like, he's notably taller than other players in the match engine. And in terms of just a player to whip the ball into, he is our best bet, I feel like, in the team currently. It's kind of one of those gaps in the game of the team, our ability in the air. So when I joined the club, I wanted to unlike him in the team, especially with the style of football we play, where we are going to pump the ball forward occasionally and look to put balls in. Every time I have the ball in a wide area, I kind of look over at the far post expecting him to be somewhere near it. Aoki wins it. Suzuki's there. He was offside on that occasion. The header was off target anyway. Well, having gone a goal down, I feel like we've responded really well. We were actually having a lot of possession in this game, which is very uncharacteristic for us, especially with the way in which we play our football. 8 shots, only 1 on target is a tad disappointing. Going to get shouty with 10 minutes left of the first half. But so far, despite the fact we're a goal down, I don't feel that upset yet. Aoki, can you make something happen here? He's going to whip in. Suzuki's there. And I'll tell you what, Kazutaro Suzuki, the man's got a big forehead. I have tried to find a picture of him, by the way. He's one of the few players in our team that doesn't have a face in the face pack. I've been looking for Suzuki's face on the internet. It doesn't exist anywhere. And I think it's because of him that at half-time here, it's going to be 1-1. It's been a hard-fought game, not a whole lot of highlights. We had a surge of chances at the start of the half. From there, it's kind of mellowed out. We scored. Nothing happened in the last 10 minutes beyond that. I'm going to tell the players I'm far from pleased. I'm a little bit concerned that with all the possession that we're having, kind of our deeper style of play probably isn't actually in our interest today. So with that in mind, I am just going to ask the players to engage a little more and push a little higher. Definitely uncharacteristic for us. I think we'll still have the defensive line set to drop off, as I'm a little bit conscious of the fact we're not the quickest in the centre-back area, and having players dropping deeper to avoid a big ball over the top is perhaps still in our interest. It's a weird performance so far. I want to be happy. I'm not going to get overreactive just yet, although maybe I'll get overreactive now. We've just been gifted penalty. We've got a penalty. Hold your horses. Who is going to take it? It's Handa over it. And suddenly we have a chance to take the lead. I thought the keeper had saved that, having gone the right way. He hasn't. That ball is in the back of the net. Handa, by the way, has a really good goal-scoring record. The former vice-captain, who I stripped of his vice-captaincy, and he was upset about that. He has now forgiven me for that, by the way. He is now happy at the club, and he's popped up with another goal there for us. Both our strikers with goals. I mentioned earlier, didn't I, that we have this habit of winning by a single goal margin. I feel like this is the kind of game where it may well be more of the same. I'm going to make a couple of changes here. Hattori, I'm going to take off outright mid and bring in Shimizu. Shimizu really has been just the go-to super sub option. He hasn't got the craziest pace in the context of world football, but within our league, this kind of pace that he possesses is definitely good on and off the bench. Moriyama has struggled a little bit so far this year, the 20-year-old, and I think I'm going to take him off here. Takahashi is the centre mid we do have on the bench. Not perhaps as good creativity-wise, but he's got some legs on him. The boy can run. And at this point in time, I feel like rather than playing him as an advanced playmaker, we'll drop him back, play him as a box-to-box midfielder, and hope that his energy in the midfield can just help us see out this game. There's 20 minutes left to hold on. There's 3 minutes left here. Aries Tokyo still looking to defend their unbeaten start to the season. Akada with the ball for them, laying it back to Makabe. They're playing a free at the back, and it's Hashioka now with the ball for them. They're committing players further up the pitch. Kakaru forward. We have players back, but they are spreading the ball from one side to the other. Hosayama cutting inside. Can we defend this? It's put across our line. We half clear it away, but only as far as Akada, who's going to whip it in from deep. And that was only just over. Fortunately, it was offside. Wouldn't have counted anyway. Okay, it's the 91st minute. We've got a free kick at the edge of the box. Little give and go. Mitsuhashi and Takahashi having their own little game in the midfield. Aoki, the left back, now with it for us. Lays it back to Sauer. We're not overcommitting men forward at this point, but we really don't need to. That is a questionable pass across the face of goal. We've won the ball back well. Matsumoto, he's done it again. He's not scored since last episode. He's scored another banger there, though. It's another goal of the season contender by Matsumoto. We win the ball via Aoki, the left back doing really well, and then I don't know what possessed him to shoot from there. I'm glad it did possess him because it's resulted in a goal for us. I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is the best performance we've had from our team all year long. Talked about the question mark over Takayasu in goal. He really didn't have too much to deal with in the grand scheme of things. We had 17 shots, maybe disappointing, only 5 were on target, but fundamentally, we created a lot, got the goals, and after a bit of a slow first half where we dominated the ball and didn't create a lot, second half, those tweaks we made just playing higher up the pitch definitely worked in our favour. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time all year we are currently top of the Kanto Division 1. This looks amazing in isolation, but knowing how Japan works, I don't want to over-celebrate it. Especially because I know, despite the fact that performance was very convincing, I do feel like we've had a fair bit of luck so far this year. Aoki, by the way, completely under the radar, got man of the match with 2 assists. So the left back has done pretty blooming well so far. That takes his tally to 4 assists in 6 to start the year. First man of the match performance for him. Very, very glad he's one of a number of players we have got on those 2-year deals. Also, Football Manager's very drunk here. I was wondering, why does it say promotion joy for Toin Yokohama University FC? The press think they've got promoted despite the fact they've just been battered 4-1. Football Manager is drunk at their 9th. They've got 5 points. No idea why the game thinks they've got promoted. And I've got more bad news for them. I believe, yeah. We're playing them in their next game. Now, that next game is 3 weeks away. So I'm probably going to schedule some friendlies. Hope that the players we've got injured are back and fit. I'll join you guys on the 8th of June, where hopefully we're going to keep this superb start to the season going. I've done a whole lot of mashing of continuing Football Manager, but before that, the all-important away day. And just before we go any further, do people realise how big Tokyo is? Like, Tokyo is absolutely gargantuan, the greater area of Tokyo. And with away days, I am going to have to cheat to find the places. The good news today is that we're in Toin University, which is actually a little bit out from Tokyo, so maybe there'll be less confusion than last episode. Although saying all of that, with us being at a university today, whether or not the actual football pitch will have street view footage around it, I suppose is a little bit of a question mark. There's 2 pitches here, presumably the team interchange between whichever is free and available. We can go around the edge of the one on the left, and there's actually a dot in the middle of the pitch on the right. This could be amazing. Or alternatively, I could just be looking at concrete walls outside football stadiums. This is becoming a very common trend with Japan. I'm looking for any kind of signage which kind of confirms this definitely is the university pitch. We are on university ground here, if I'm not mistaken, so I'd like to think there'll be some evidence that the team play here. The football pitch is just over there, by the way. Those fences there are the football pitch. Look how picturesque and cute this little area is of Japan. This is gorgeous in a little valley, isn't it? It just looks very scenic. But I will say, sadly for us, no evidence of the football team and nothing really to look at. So many of our hopes might be pinned on this dot here. Here is the Toin University Stadium, and I think I have to reiterate at this point, we are playing quite far down the footballing pyramid of Japan. I think I'm coming to the terms of the idea that for the first few seasons, at the very least, we are just going to be playing on artificial pitches that have no stand of sorts. But, I mean, here is the university. The surrounding, by the way, is very, very beautiful, isn't it? You got, I believe, baseball over there as well. I'll admit it, I've got distracted here. I'm just looking at the baseball pitch to, get a vibe for the area. What I will say now is, looking at this baseball pitch, it doesn't look very fit for purpose. You know, I've never played baseball. I feel like there's meant to be bases and something. And right now, there's just dirt circles on the floor. I've had a look around. No evidence that a football team play here. Let's just look at a car park. That'll cheer me up. Or at least it would if it was a good car park. I mean, it's got a cute little flower bed roundabout in the middle. But it's not the greatest car park I've ever seen on an away day. I did know that with us being out in the countryside a little bit more, you know, there might not be a theme park next door. This is a week away day. The only nice bit about this away day was this little group of houses here, which were very cute. I'm just going to go back and look at them some more. This just makes me a little bit happy. I feel like I should point out as well, this preview image you see here is just a placeholder one used for teams without a picture in the picture pack. I can see why no pictures exist at this university team stadium. Their stadium is crap. I meant to give it a score. The Toin Yokohama University soccer ground, there was some car parking, there was a cute village next door. 3 out of 10. Now, I feel like I should point out at this point, the university team in our league are currently in 9th, but the university team also play in the University Championships in Kanto, where they're currently 4th, so we can't afford to underestimate them too much. That said, I've noticed here they've got a game tomorrow in the University League, so I'm not actually sure what team they're going to field for this game against us. Now, in terms of the team that we're going to field, I suppose the good news for us here is that in spite of the fact there are a few injuries here and there, we've had 3 weeks to rest up the players and rotate things around. Attacker, you can see here in goal, not requiring a fitness test. Have just realised I've not got a goalkeeper on the bench. Never again. We are suffering from a fair few injuries still though. Takahashi, who would normally be on the bench as a centre mid option, is injured. Our captain, Kobayashi, who's not been playing that much with all 2 of his stamina, he's also injured at the moment. And in fact, you can see here, he is injured, if we just have a look at things, with torn wrist ligament. So he is going to miss a decent chunk of football. I kind of look at him at 26 years old and his current ability, the lack of games he's played for us. He probably won't be here next year. Hattori, who would normally feature in the starting 11, our right mid, he's suspended for today's game as well. Only 1 goal to his name, but he's been a pretty good player when we've called upon him. And elsewhere, Ida, still coming back from injury, so he's not available for today's game either. Okay, into this game we go. I'm looking at their team here. They have got plenty of real players, or at least new-gen players in their team. With the university teams, not all their rosters are fully fleshed out as part of the database. Because we've got a setting that generates players, they are able to play for the team. I did wonder with them having a university game tomorrow, whether or not that might fiddle with their starting 11. But it looks like they are playing a semi-serious starting 11. Given the fact they're in the drop zone, given the fact we've just beaten the team in Aries Tokyo, who were top, and we are now top of the league, we really need to win this kind of game. Saying all of that, knowing that we're without players like Ida, means that, maybe expectations drop a little. Although I feel like that was more of a factor perhaps for the previous game, and not this one here, where they have very nearly scored inside 7 minutes. Have noticed here, they are playing a 4-3-3. Aries Tokyo played a very similar system. When we've matched up against teams playing this, we've looked good, and we've been given another penalty there. It was Kim at centre-back at the back post who looked like he was going to get his noggin on it before he was pushed. We've earned the penalty. Handa is going to be over it. Handa, on the verge of signing a new contract with us. I've offered it him. He's accepted it. It's just not been signed yet. He's bloody missed the penalty. I mean, we still have a corner, but we're on a good run of scoring penalties. We've missed that one there, and I have to hope we're not going to live to regret it, as Aoki's offside from the corner, and we look like a shambles right now. Their goalkeeper is on a 7.7 rating in this game. He's got that literally off-saving 1 penalty, I realise. They've had a lot of the ball and a decent number of shots, but no shots on target. I feel like we're limiting their efforts to ones from range. And when you look at the overall XG story, with the exception of this big jump here, which was just a penalty miss, neither team's been very good in this game. I did my team talk and Suzuki looked disheartened. I've decided that that is the sign to bring in Fukumoto at striker. This guy, when he's played, has been good so far this year. 3 starts, 3 sub-appearances, 7.13 rating. Gonna bring him on in this game here, and maybe he can be the man who can actually find the target and score from open play for us. Coming up to an hour played here, I feel like I've got to make some more changes. Handa, I've just noticed here, has picked up a knock, a foot injury. I don't want to risk it. We're going to bring in Kanda for his first live commentary appearance, if I'm not mistaken. He's yet to start a game for us. I've not called upon him too much, but maybe desperate times here call for desperate measures. Elsewhere, Moriyama has not been great. Ida is coming back from injury. I'm going to take a gamble and put him on here. Hopefully he stays fit. He failed his fitness test, but you know what? I'm a gambler. Half an hour won't hurt him. Half an hour will be fine, hopefully. I really hope. Corner, Aoki whipping it towards the back post. No Suzuki to aim for. Kim is there, but he forces a massive save out there, goalie. Matsumoto now to take the corner over on the other side, whipping it in on his right foot. Fukumoto is there, and that is a tragic header. There's 15 minutes left here. It is still 0-0. We have been on top in this game. Ida to his fellow sub in Fukumoto. He's going to lay it to Mitsuhashi, the right back, who's going to lay it forward to Shimizu. Sliding at right mid today. He's been quiet so far. Puts it on a plate. Kanda can't get there, but I'll tell you who is going to get there. Matsumoto. He's bloody done it again. When we first started putting Matsumoto, when I first came in on the left-hand side, because he's right-footed but playing left mid, I wasn't that certain about it as a winger, but the amount of times he has cut inside for us and scored on that right foot is silly. I think the effort there might have been deflected. I am not going to complain. We have our noses in front. I feel like we kind of deserve it. That said, there is still 10 minutes left of this game, so we cannot afford to get complacent. The job is not done yet, although a second goal might well confirm it. Fukumoto holding up the play to Ida. Mitsuhashi at right back, getting forward. Shimizu. Fukumoto misses it, and it was beautiful football. The finishers let us down. 5 minutes of added time. Kim, by the way, he's still on free kicks. Someone needs to remind me in the comments, take Kim off free kicks, although he's actually doing quite well from them. I'm almost fond of the idea of having my best header rotate the free kicks when it works, and well, speaking of things working, it's not been pretty today. It's not been a good performance today. But I'm going to take the win. Their goalkeeper got man of the match. They still lost 1-0. Completely irrelevant. I suppose the question now is, what were the results elsewhere? And, well, here were the results elsewhere. No one else played. So we're top, 5 points clear. Just as a reminder, it's only an 18-game season. We're almost at the halfway point. Okay. I'm glad that I took off Handa when I did. He is now out for the next 2 to 3 weeks. If you were wondering, by the way, our season expectation was 8th in the media eyes at the start of the year. We have now climbed up to 6th, actually joint with Toho Titanium in terms of the odds, who are in 5th. So definitely the additions we've made to the team this year have strengthened things up. In spite of the fact we are where we are in the league right now, I'm not going to get too carried away. And I know some people are maybe going to be watching the series thinking, is it going to be too easy? Just as a reminder, we're currently competing with 10 teams, including ourselves here. There's over 100 teams vying for these promotion spots. Being strong in your division is one thing. Being strong in the entire country, very different proposition. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. 2 more wins is really, really good, but there is still a long and grueling season ahead. We've dealt with some injuries fairly well. Can we keep dealing with things? You have to find out tomorrow. I'll see you guys for the next episode. Take things easy. It's me, Jack. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.